Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Z. I'm a clinical psychologist specializing in transgender care. Welcome to my channel. Recently, I was working with a client, and if you're watching, you know who you are. And I used this metaphor that seemed to really resonate, and it was such a great metaphor. I thought I gotta make a video out about it because I think it's going to be very helpful to a lot of you, just to really understand what you may be settling yourself for, so to speak. So what we were talking about with this individual were about a period when before you actually start transitioning, or maybe a period when you just started transition but you're really not sure and you're still holding yourself back and fully moving forward. And it's a period where there's a lot of fears. You're going to be scared. There's going to be a lot of unknown. And there's a part of you who's starting to wonder whether it's going to be really difficult. You're starting to ask yourself, how hard is it actually going to be to go over here to fully go through transition and to fully transition to the gender you desire to be? So you're starting to look at it and you're starting to ask yourself, is that even feasible? That looks very, very difficult. That looks like I have to start from the get-go. It looks like I have to start from the ground zero. Whereas over here, where you're at right now, even though it is painful for you, it doesn't feel per se difficult for a lot of you, not because you don't have dysphoria, because you do have dysphoria, but it doesn't feel super painful for you per se, because you got so accustomed to coping with it. You got so accustomed to strategizing the way you manage it. You got so accustomed to pulling different strings within yourself in order how to minimize the pain. Some of you have become really good at avoiding. Some of you have become really good at escaping thoughts of it. So even though it is hard, you at the same time have, over the years, because you've been struggling with it for so long, you also learn how to manage it in your own way. Of course, whether you manage it in a way that is healthy for you or good for your health is completely another issue. But nonetheless, over here, at least you know what you're dealing with. This pain is very, very familiar to you. Over here, it just seems like it's going to be that much more difficult. So the analogy I use that I think is very, very fitting for this over here versus this over here is this. Imagine you're swimming, and in fact, a lot of us, what we do in our lives is we swim, swimming as in a sense of metaphor of moving forward in our lives. Over here, meaning where you're at right now, you are swimming and have been swimming majority of your life against the current of water. Because you're swimming against the current, you're using way more energy, you're using way more power, you're using way more inner resources. It's that much more difficult for you, and it's that much more painful for you to swim against a current. Yes, over here it is familiar. You know the waters over here very well. You know what the water temperature is. You know who's swimming next to you. You know how to deal with swimmers next to you. You know what else you might encounter because you've been doing it again and again. But you're forgetting that you are swimming against current, and you're not paying attention to what that may imply to actually swim against a current. Over here, if you were to either start transition or if you were to go forward with a full transition for yourself, what's happening over here is that you will be swimming with the current. And while, yeah, there are going to be all kinds of nuances over here. There are going to be nuances such as you have no idea what the water temperature is going to be like. You have no idea what other swimmers you might meet on your way or how you're going to adapt to them. You have no idea what other obstacles you might meet. You're going to be using up and utilizing less energy, less resources, less power, and it's going to be easier for you to move forward because you're moving with the current, meaning you're actually moving in direction you were meant to go all of your life, towards your true authenticity, towards your true gender. So even though it is going to be hard, that hard is going to be juxtapositioned against the contrast of actually moving in the direction you're supposed to move. And therefore, by proxy, it is going to make process also easier. Whereas over here, nothing about over here is going to be easy. It may feel like it's sometimes easier because you already know how to cope with it and how to deal with it, but you're pushing against and against and against the water currents. It is as if you're pushing against the wall constantly and daily, and you cannot get past that wall. Over here, we remove the wall. The obstacle is gone. Over here, the path is open. The obstacles are the unknown, the adapting. How are you going to adapt now to swimming in this water? But guess what? Once you learn how to swim in these waters, you're swimming, you're on your own. So this is a really, really powerful analogy for all of you to realize that, yeah, you are living with dysphoria and you are struggling and it is painful. But I just want you to notice the difference here of swimming against current versus doing something about it and starting to finally swim in direction, not only direction you were meant to swim, but also having those waters moving alongside with you and supporting everything with them. You know that phrase that people use that when you start moving in direction you're really meant to move, when you're starting to really align yourself with who you are, whether it is through passions, through career choices, through your gender identities, through other elements in your life, how suddenly everything tends to fall into your path like a puzzle and start come together. It's the same analogy. When we're moving in direction where we're meant to move, in relationship to life and in relationship to who we actually truly are versus against it, fighting against it, that's what happens. Things just start falling into place. I know it's hard to believe and I know it's hard to feel, but I've seen it so many times. So hopefully this is helpful. I think it's a wonderful, amazing metaphor. You know how much I love my metaphors. And I think this is really going to be helpful to a lot of you. Comment below, let me know, are you right now swimming against current? Have you thought about how much actually energy it takes out of you? Have you thought about what it would feel like to swim with the current? And for those of you who went from swimming against to swimming with, share also how much liberating that is and how much easier it becomes, even though you're dealing with the fearful, the difficult challenges of the transition, just moving in direction you were meant to move, how much that's actually liberating in of itself. So comment below, because we're all benefiting from each other's comments. I know that a lot of you are reading each other's comments and commenting, and they're incredibly helpful. So comment below, and I love your comments as well, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.